Hey there, Rivermen fans. I'm Jason Ruff, and welcome to the Dry Dock Podcast. Hey there, Rivermen fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Dry Dock Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the 40th Rivermen season that was, get a chance to talk to some Rivermen greats, both past and present. I, of course, am your host, Jason Ruff. Our next guest is, or rather was, one of the top defenders on the blue line for the Peoria Rivermen. He did it all. He hit people. He blocked shots. He defended like a madman. He even scored some big goals. The native of Detroit, Michigan, Lord Anthony of the Riverlands, Lord Anthony Grissom. LA, great to see you, my friend. You're looking good. How's the summer been treating you so far?
Pretty good. It's been some nice weather, so been able to work out and skate and get out on the course a little bit.
Awesome. Well, let's dive right into it. One of the things that always strikes me and that we didn't really get a chance to connect about is that both you and I are products of the NAHL, obviously me with broadcasting in Odessa, but you with the Janesville Jets. How do you think that experience in the North American Hockey League kind of prepped you to have a good college career and now starting off with a good pro career as well?
Well, the NA, I mean, a lot of people think it's just an average league. It's actually pretty tough. A lot of grinding. I know the South is a little bit more tougher. Let's say I didn't play there. Obviously, I was in the Midwest Division at one point, the North Division that transferred over. But I mean, it's a grind. Every game's a grind. There's always good teams. I don't know how it is now, but back then there's only maybe one team that wasn't really up to par, but every game was a tough game to play.
Yeah, certainly. So many memories of being in the NAHL. Like you said, South Division, it was a grind fest division, but that North/Midwest division North and Midwest division, they certainly had some very good teams. Janesville was among them. But looking over to this past season with the Rivermen, you came in late in the season, had only 12 games, but that first game it just seemed so special against Roanoke. You had 2 goals in that game, and you could just sense your enthusiasm of being out on the ice. Talk to us a little bit about what that SPHL debut was like for you and how meaningful it was to get things started off on the right foot.
Well, for me, it was, I always had a dream of playing professional hockey. So, when you get a chance to first step into that dream, you kind of want to make sure that first impression is always the most important one. And just getting to the rink. I mean, obviously I was very nervous coming in, even at practice. And like I said before, Jack Barry, he's just said, first game, he's like, "Oh, you nervous?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty nervous." And he said, "Man, it's just hockey. You played this game so many times." And so that kind of calmed me down a little bit. But I mean, it was definitely a special night, that's for sure. 2 goals on 2 shots. It's a lot of my friends text me saying, "Where was that at in college?" But it was definitely something that I will never forget. I'm sure my parents will never forget. Like, it was an awesome experience.
It's funny you mentioned that your friends wondering where the offense was in college. We were talking to Guy earlier on this summer, and he made mention of you, and he's saying, I was talking as Guy was talking to your former coach, and he's like, my goodness, Lord Anthony Grissom scored more goals in less than a year in pro hockey than ever did in college. What the heck?
Yeah.
But Coach Trudell also made mention. And I asked him this question. I asked him, who's the most vocal leader on that team that did not wear an A? And without hesitation, Guy pointed directly to you and said, L.A. Grissom, without a doubt, he was just the most vocal leader on that team, and he didn't wear an A. And he made mention of saying, hopefully he comes back next year, but if he does, that'd be great. I'd love to have him as really part of a leadership group. Where does that leadership come from, do you think? And how did you develop into that vocal leader on the ice for this Rivermen team?
I think coming in, I wasn't very vocal, and I just kind of let my play speak for itself. I'm more of a lead by example, so I'll sell out, block shots, finish checks, things like that. So I think once I got comfortable with being around the team because obviously I came in late. It wasn't like I had the whole season to, get to know the guys and everything. I really only had, like you said, 12 games. It was very quick. So once I got a little bit more comfortable and, open up to guys a little bit more, even with us getting lunch after practice and things like that, it just, felt a little bit more comfortable to kind of speak up. And then also, that confidence key, even still saying on the ice, like, hey, like, talk to whoever you need to talk to, communicate with guys. And that just kind of, ball kind of got rolling from there.
And one of the really intriguing aspects that I saw, at least, especially towards the end of that season, whenever you paired up with Zach Wilkie, it just seems like you two were almost inseparable, really started to click. And I loved it when Guy put you two on a defensive pairing, because even out on the ice, you could just tell there was some sort of really good chemistry. Just not only how well you moved the puck, just how well you played off each other. Did that chemistry carry over off the ice as well? And talk to us a little bit about why you two work together so well.
Actually, we sat next to each other in the locker room, so that kind of helped a little bit. And he was also one of the first people I met coming into the season. I was for my internship for school, I was coaching with the Marmion hockey team, and he's from the area. And my coach, the coach I was working with there, Espo, he actually said, "Hey, I know Zach Wilkie," and he put us in a group chat together. So that was before I even drove into Peoria. We had already started talking. And he was one of the first people I met when I got there. So I think that helped a little bit. He also drives a Jeep, so that also helps a little bit too. So that kind of Jeep community type of feel. And, he's very, easy to talk to, pretty outgoing. So, so I think that's just kind of how we clicked.
Certainly so. And that carried into the playoffs, a really big playoff atmosphere, especially that Quad City series had a number of key moments in that series. What was the playoffs, everything you thought it would be in the run up to the President's Cup? And this is a two-part question. And what was your favorite moment outside of winning the cup, actually?
Well, I like to treat every game the same. So it's not like, there's a little bit more added pressure because every loss is big. So in all honesty, I've been in situations where I played for championships, and I've been in playoffs where I like to keep things the same going into a game. It's just, for me, it's another game, like just to kind of keep that mindset going. So playoffs was like the regular season for me. So it was, everything was the same. But favorite moment, I think honestly, my favorite moment was, I would say, that penalty kill against Quad City.
Oh, yeah.
That 5-1-3 at the end. I think that was a big. I mean, Wilke was out there. I can't remember who the forward was out there, but everybody was blocking shots, and it was just so many block shots. And I think honestly that moment in the game changed the outcome for the rest of the series and the rest of the playoff run, because then it was like, if they score on that, things maybe change, but because we locked it down and we killed it off, I think that changed everything. And I don't think that's going to be a lot of people's favorite moments, but for me, that was the game changer for how the playoffs end up finalized out for us.
That was, I want to say that was game 3, wasn't it?
That was game 3 in the second period.
Yeah.
It was like a minute. And it was the end of the because we killed it off, and it was like we got a little bit of a break. So it was like, I think we killed off the first one, and then we just had a little bit of time left on the second one, because then it was going into the third period. And we were tied. I'm pretty sure we were tied 1-1, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. And they kept going back to that near side. Were you on that near side, or was it Wilke?
Yeah, I was on that near side.
Yeah,
they kept going back to the that near side. Yeah. And like I said, that was, game changer. Even talking to JB after, he was like, I was so comfortable with you over there. I felt like I could just stand in the middle of that and know that you would be covering that entire side of the net for me.
I bet Wilke was on the other side. He's like, man, I'm glad they're going over to him. Because they're shot after shot after shot. Block, Grissom block. I'm like, holy cow. I can only imagine what it was like on the ice.
Honestly, you don't feel it in the moment because the rush of everything. And after I sat down in the locker room, I think that's when I started feeling it. But yeah, it was no, that was I think it's just a crazy moment in the game where things could have went completely south, and they could have scored 2 goals on both those power play, and that would have really changed the outcome of that game. But I think since we battled through that, it was one of those things that maybe people don't realize, but they look back and see like, oh wow, that was a very crucial part of the series. So
Exactly. Because you make a very good point. Everyone sees the goals and the highlights, but you go back to that moment. Those are the types of moments, where a good power play or penalty kill that change a game. I mean, you just have to go forward a little bit to Marcel Gobout's power play goal in the 3rd period in Game 4 of the finals. He doesn't score on that one. Peoria probably doesn't go to overtime because that was the best chance they got.
exactly.
Now, speaking on that game, LA, where were you and when did it set in, really, is what I want to ask. When did it set in that you were a President's Cup champion?
Probably not until we got in the locker room. Actually, maybe laying on the ice. I think maybe laying on the ice for the photo. I think that's when it like really set in. I think when I saw the goal, because I was on the bench, we had just, I'm pretty sure we had just got off the ice, and maybe 30 seconds later we scored. But we were sitting on the bench, and when that puck went in, I looked right over, and everybody's looking at each other like, we just won. And I think it really set in until I think for me laying on the ice, and it was just a crazy time, crazy experience, just one that I'll never forget.
Looking back on the season, it's easy for guys, especially guys who come in late, to come in, go through the motions, but people, whether they be fans or casual goers, they gravitate towards the guys who've been there. It's difficult for guys who come in late to make an impact. Not only did you make an impact, LA, but you were also one of those guys who were just so beloved by the fan base because they love your personality. They love the way you play. When you look back on about your whole experience with the Peoria Rivermen last year, how special do you think it is to be able to leave an impact and to leave a legacy like that, not just on the organization, but on the many fans here at Peoria Rivermen hockey?
Oh, no, it means a lot. I mean, obviously, like you said, I wasn't there very long, but that 3 months felt like a whole year, from day one, from the first game to the jersey auction to, sign an autograph, even meeting my sponsor, Connie. Like it was, it was just one of those things that when I stepped foot in there, it was, it just felt right. Everything felt like home. Everybody was very friendly, and it was, an unbelievable experience. And I am happy that I was a part of it. I'm happy that the fans got a chance to, finally get that SPHL championship. I mean, even after we came from the parade, when we sat down and did autographs and everything, there were so many fans that said, like, I can die happy now that, I finally got a chance to see an SPHL. They've seen, the SPHL, the ECHL, and they've seen the AHL, and that was just one of those things that they were so excited. And I mean, we were there for, I don't know what, 2 hours, 3 hours or something like that, signing autograph, but you could just see the atmosphere in the room. Everybody was so happy. It was just an unbelievable time to see.
Well, LA, native of Detroit, obviously with the ship in dry dock now, what has the off season been like? I understand you're spending a little bit of time with your girlfriend in Wisconsin before going back to the Motor City. You following the Tigers at all? Do they have a chance to make the playoffs, you think, or is this another rebuild year?
I have not been following the Tigers that much. I'm not really a huge baseball guy. I like going to the games. I can't watch it on TV. But I can't expect that. But wise, it's been nice. I took a couple weeks off just to kind of give my body a little bit of a break and just kind of wind down, because once we got done playing and won, I had to go graduate. I had my master's graduation, so that was that Sunday. So, and then after that, I had a wedding to go to in California. So it's just like pile of things, back to back things to doing. So I finally got a chance to like just sit down and kind of relax, take a little bit of time off. So I've been back on the ice a little bit here and working out. So it's been kind of nice to kind of get back into it. I know the season's not till October, but I'm kind of ready to get going, get going right now, honestly.
Certainly so. No one deserves a rest more than you, especially with all those bumps and bruises you get blocking shots. But then again, That's why we have athletic trainer Shane Hudson with
right. Shado.
Oh, you gotta love him. You gotta love
Yeah.
him. LA, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. We look forward to seeing what you do with your career moving forward, whether it be here in other leagues, what have you. We look forward to, and we will always be in your corner. We look forward to seeing you again, hopefully on October 22nd here for the home opener.
Thank you. Appreciate it.